just before we go any further, I do want to apologize in advance because I am currently sick as of me recording this, so yeah, just a heads up. So it's been about 3 months since I've started college, which I am genuinely surprised that I made it this far without losing my sanity. But it's about time that we went over a few things. So, first off, why ATEC? And by extension, why UTD? We'll be talking about the more personal stuff further down the video because, spoiler alert, my senior year of high school was ass. But we'll get there when we get there. So, why ATEC? Simply put, I love video games. I love playing them. I love talking about them. I love pitching ideas every once in a while. And just to get an idea of certain games I appreciate, I like the hyperrealism and immersion of Red Dead Redemption 2. I love the Lovecraftian atmosphere and challenge of Bloodborne, the refined parkour and combat of Dying Light 2, the cyberpunk-esque scenery and speed of Ghostrunner, and I like the photorealism and arcade action of the Call of Duty franchise. But let's get into a question that I asked previously. Why UTD? The answer is simple. My brother. My brother actually graduated in 2021, and since then, he is doing pretty well. He's got a nice paying job, he has a fiance, and he has a house. And he also has a dog. He is my nephew. I love him. And when we were talking as after the graduation, he was talking to me about the ATEC building and how I like games, I should get into coding to a certain level. So he suggested that I do that. And it was around the point where I was sort of struggling to find a certain niche that I wanted to fill. And then in the middle of my senior year, I decided, hey, I'm gonna go for animation and just game design in general. And that's when he suggested ATEC, which would fit perfectly, and I have no doubt will get me much further than I will anticipate in the long run. But now let's get into the more personal things, and this is where things are going to get a little serious because, as you've heard more towards the beginning, it wasn't always this smooth of a road. Now, I say that my high school years were pretty average. I mean, I'd mostly just stay at home up until my latter semester of my senior year, which is when I would grab a job and get a 9 to 5. Well, you know what I mean. But senior year, I had a really big halt, and this would go after some things that I started doing in my junior year of high school, which is not particularly why. It's not the best to do at all. But then more towards my senior year, I would start sketching about these things. And this is something that I should touch on briefly. My junior year of high school is when I would start to sketch more consistently. I would try to push a drawing about once a month, at least. And which helped perfectly for my Design 1 class for this first semester of college. So that worked out pretty great. But one of my hobbies was also sketching at the time. And when I got to a very serious low point in my senior year, that's when I said, you know what, maybe it's a better idea to sketch about this. So I did. I would sketch about how I was feeling. I would go into certain aspects about it because just to be as expressive as possible, and to an extent it did make me feel better. But then once college hit, things really took a turn for the better. It was a pretty decent start in my first week, but the real kicker was in Saturday, that first Saturday of college, because that's when I met the group that I would main with, possibly for the rest of college as well. it was funny because we went there when apparently we didn't have any class. So we just sat there like, what the hell are we gonna do? So you know what? We went over to Starbucks. Two of us grabbed the coffee, the other two some tea or something. I don't particularly remember. And we just had a nice chat in student union. And I didn't know that that was the start of something that I would hold on near and dear in college. And it was a pretty big move because that would pretty much define the social aspects that I would have throughout this first semester at least. So life was pretty good. But then something happened in the middle of November, which was another hard wall. And I guess it was more like a reality check that I was at such a high that you can only go just a little bit higher, or you can have a steep drop. And a steep drop is kind of what happened. And it, at the time, I forgot about doing sketches relating to the thing I was previously doing because I was at such a good point that I didn't think that I had to express myself there anymore. But once that happened, I was like, okay, I need to do this. But as of right now, I am much better in a mental standpoint, not physically, because my sinuses are killing me. And it's just putting one foot forward. It's very uncertain what the future is going to hold for me, but I am completely certain that I'll have more highs than lows in the coming years. One more thing before I go, because I do apologize for how long it's been. Here's my Instagram. There have been a few people that I've wanted to talk to, or some people that may have wanted to approach me but didn't know how. So I figured that I would do that. Just to get an idea, I do post all my drawings there, and I also do some videos every now and again. But yeah, just another outlet for people to reach me with. So yeah, I am signing off, and I'll see everyone around.